Check it out. This is the Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 Node Wars preview. Little preview. Just a little preview.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day in Vera. And today we have an exciting showcase. One
Look at him sitting
that
down.
has been long in the making.
Nice.
Probably one of our largest
Showing off some mounts,
systems
too.
that we have actually shown to date. I know that there are a lot in the audience who are excited about what we're
Bro, they
going
couldn't
to be
put the
talking
fly
about
mount.
and what we're going to be showing today. Many of you have been waiting.
The tail's
for
going
this
through the
particular
fucking
showcase.
tower.
And I am joined by some pretty awesome developers who have made what you're going to see today a reality. Three of our glorious engineers, Kyle, Keenan, Zach. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Thanks for having
Excellent.
us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely excited to chat with you guys about what it took to bring this particular
What it
feature to
do.
life. I know that each of you in your respective rights have had different purviews over this kind of massively multiplayer engagement, the unique system work that's involved for the war and the events itself, along with obviously combat and player movement for you guys. So a lot of insights there, which I'm going to be excited to chat with you guys about as we kind of go through this. Also, we have two of our glorious designers, regulars on the show. Chris, Trad, how are you guys doing?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yep, I'm hyped for some PvP.
Ooh, some PvP and this amazing war system, Chris, that I know that you have been slaving away over the course of the last few months in helping to author and set up and doing a lot of testing with our PI group and iterating on the system as well. A lot of hard work has gone to this. Gonna be excited to kind of showcase that off. And then, of course, no true project can be successful without the absolute amazing responsibility of production. We have one of our glorious producers here, Nathan. Nathan, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm excited. This was a big step for us to put the massive back in MMO, and I'm excited to show that off to everyone today.
Excited to show it off too. Now,
Let's hope it's good.
many of you may be asking yourself, where am I? What are we looking at? We are currently in the node of Miraleth, where I have been bestowed with the great honor
That's Sauron's
of
tower over there?
mayorship, leading these beautiful, wonderful people to success all across the Riverlands and Vera beyond. And we have recently gotten into maybe some interchanges that haven't been so polite with one of our neighboring nodes. And this can happen in the world of Vera. There are a lot of systems set up to provide players an outlet to kind of govern themselves, govern their relationships with each other. Come hither, Stephen. Winstead shall show you the way to win. Unbelievable. They are already trash talking. Look at this disrepute that comes from Margaret as the mayor of Winstead. We must respond in kind. Chris, what are some of the options we have available to us when our honor is being questioned as a node?
Yeah, so as you kind of alluded to, we're gonna declare war on them because they're big meanies. So we
That
have to
mount
go
looks
through-
cool.
Can we rephrase that? It's not that they're big weenies. It's that
I said meanies.
Oh,
I said
meanies. They're big meanies. It's not that they're big meanies. It's that we must exert our dominance, and we can only truly achieve respect through power. And if we don't demonstrate that power to these peons that are at Winstead, then how will they know to fear us?
This kind of sounds like New World
That's a
system.
much more eloquent way to put it, Steven. So we have to jump through a few hoops before we can declare war. We don't want.
Bro, and in New World, like, it was just always like, oh yeah, we'll be chill, and then like betrayal, kind of like Risk. It was just always BS with neighboring like towns or territories, and yeah, I remember some sus things going down on my server. I don't know about you guys, but that's cool though. that's what makes the game fun. That was a lot of fun, because the players create content in the game, which is awesome. I love that. Big fan.
Mayors running around in Ashes of Creation, just like
Big fan.
perma-flagging the whole world into a state of PvP, right? So
Wait, some people just said, "Wait a minute, yes, I do."
well, it's going to cost you some resources to do that. So Steven, as the mayor, you have access to a special panel in your node UI.
All right, I pulled up my node interface. Now, I must take this moment, as is normally the case, to remind everyone in our audience that everything you see here today is a work in progress. That means that we are currently working towards
why
our
just
Alpha 2.
puts out a disclaimer.
For third quarter
I'm okay with it
year.
being instanced like war, like in New World. I'm also okay with it being like literally going to their node and like destroying the base. That'd be cool too. I'm like 100% down with that.
Will continue to get better,
because then the scale is limitless.
And the reason that we do these live
you can have like other
is to keep
guilds or whatever like help out, like mercenaries, right? Because you could have mercenaries in New World too, but it was like the max was 100, so you'd bring like 5 mercenaries, and sometimes the mercenaries would get paid from you and then betray you and just like throw or like not help, and yeah, you'd never hire them again, but they didn't care because like they got their like team to take over the node or whatever, or like their alliance, like the other faction, because there were 3 factions in New World. So
on these particular systems, because there are a lot of them. So sorry, Chris, I am in this node window and I see that I have available to me some number of mayoral commissions that I can begin with.
Correct. Now this tab is only available to the mayor, hence why it's called the mayor tab. And if you hit that button in the top right corner, the manage commissions button.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
You'll see we have a list of commissions and a bunch of available slots for you to initiate. Now, these are much like regular commissions that I think we've shown off in the past. The difference here is the mayor is picking which ones are going to be available to players, and when enough players complete them, the node gets a reward. Right.
Very good. So this is a bit different than your standard commissions, your non-mayoral commissions, because those are generated by the system based on predicates of the surrounding area. From a narrative perspective,
we saw the commissions
mayoral
stream
commissions
though.
are really more predicated.
So this is not like really anything new
to have done to collect resources or to enable certain actions such as
this is not new.
Correct. Now, additionally, like more mayoral commissions will become available as the node progresses, and the commissions that are available will change based on how the node is built, right? So if you build a blacksmith, you might get some special smithing related commissions that you could elect to initiate for your players. But if you don't upgrade that blacksmith, you're not going to be able to do that.
Got it. Very cool. Okay. So I see here there's one called
Was that Vape Nate?
War Preparations.
And that's the one you're going to want to use if we want to go to war. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and initiate that commission. If you see in the top right of that panel, there's the some glint available. That's the reward players will get for doing this activity.
Oh, okay. Should I confirm this selection?
Go confirm the selection.
Okay. So when players complete this commission, they do their part, and this is essentially them buying on to this choice.
Correct.
Got it. So it's not just unilaterally, and obviously, guys, as you're watching this, some of these system designs are in an effort to provide these gameplay loops with the resources that we have available to us at this stage in the development for Alpha 2 purposes. Long term, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, how some of those designs will change and incorporate other systems which we are still pending development on. But here, the players that are citizens of this node must opt in with the mayor's decision by completing this commission in order to grant that power. And for their participation, they're getting rewards as well.
Yeah, you need incentive.
Correct.
Very cool. And so what are these awards they're getting?
So they're going to get some glint, which we've also shown off in the past that they can turn in for money.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're getting paid. Very cool.
Hopefully, the one thing I worry about systems like this is there's obviously the best one that gives the most credit. Like, let's just say the most glint. And obviously 1, 2, 3, there's 8 that could be available at a given time. But if you need the war preparations, like for a specific thing, hopefully that's not the case, right? Like you need war preparations, but then everyone wants to do the other quest, like let's just say building foundations, just to, just for argument's sake. And that gives like more glint, then everyone's going to be doing building foundations when you're trying to get, war preparations going, because building foundation gives us more glint. So, fuck your war prep, right? That's what I worry about. So hopefully that's all good and like balanced, you know, because at the end of the day, let's say even if they all give equal amount, then it's whatever quest or objective is like the fastest, right? Like takes the least amount of time. Yeah. So if there's, incentives behind war preps, like war prep actually bolsters your, like your gates or something, like, and no one's doing that because they do the building foundations quest because it has more glint or reward. Damn. I guess what I'm saying is hopefully the right, commissions, give like the best reward so that people are more incentivized to like actually help out when, preparing for war or going to war or whatever.
Should we select any other ones here too?
Yeah, I mean, they all offer a varying breadth of things, right? The primary thing we're rewarding through mayoral commissions is what we call node buffs. And these are benefits that are applied to your zone of influence. So, for example, you might want to do a mayoral commission that increases gathering speed for 24 hours in the node. And if enough players do that, you guys get that benefit.
Okay. Let's do the building
And also,
foundation.
they're not saying like what is the amount of players that have to do it to gain the benefit. I think it's 100 because it says node progress on the bottom 0 of 100, so 100 players, which is like the average amount of players in a guild in WoW. So that's good.
Right.
Anything more than that
make
is probably
safe
too much.
The grounds around us as well. Let's get rid of some of those goblins. And perhaps we should acquire some forages.
I'm also wondering if you can only do it
So we
once
have a
per
number of
quest, or
different
you can
commissions now
repeat.
that are available to the players.
Correct. Now, if you want to close out of that window and walk over, this is our fancy mayoral commission board over here.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
And if you interact with it, it'll show the commissions that are currently that you've initiated.
Nice. Now we have obviously a fire that's closest to the door, being of course our war preparations, because honestly the shifty characters over at Winstead really can't be trusted, especially in the
It's
proximity.
on a
they are
24-hour
to
timer
our
too, so once you put it up, you can't take it away.
So how am I going to go ahead and complete this?
So first, accept the commission by clicking on it.
Wonder if there's a grace period.
If you notice, it's popped up in your objective tracker.
All right.
Like you take the node, and then there's like 24 hours where it can't be, taken again. And then you spam like the best quests, and you get fortified just in case like the next day someone tries to take over the node.
And I believe it says turn in 20 T1 materials. Do you have enough T1 materials, Steven?
I think just by pure coincidence, I happen to have exactly 20 that are available. Yes.
So this little treasure box next to the commission board is where you can turn in.
Cool.
All right. Ah, okay, very cool. Yes, I will turn in some of my stone, and I got my reward. Objective is now complete.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Now, currently, for the sake of this showcase, that mayoral commission is set to only require one player to complete it.
Oh, okay.
So that we can, speed things along for us, and we don't have to wait, a couple of days for hundreds of players to do this. But
that is the intent, right? Is that these commissions do require a heavy opt-in from the player base. in the order of magnitude being hundreds of these commissions needing
Exactly.
to be completed.
And that'll depend on the scope of the commission, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some commissions with very minor effects might not require a large amount
Oh,
of players to
interesting.
complete them, but something like going to war.
They have to be careful with that though, because it, you don't want to do too much, because it's just like, if it just never gets done and it's some unrealistic thing, and like people can just keep taking over the node before it gets fortified, I guess that's bad. But it might also be bad if they can like fortify really fast, and then like it's way harder for other people to take over the node. So I don't know. There's definitely a fine balance to find for that. Yeah, it's kind of like the porridge story, not too hot, too cold, just right. So too much, too little, just the right amount of players doing the quest, and I guess that would be determined by player base mainly, and like active player base too, obviously. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, just skip ahead like 5 minutes. I have to go take the pizza out of the oven. I think it's ready, and yeah, if you're watching on Kick, then I'll be right back, real quick. Okay, if you're watching on either or, I lied to you. I'm gonna let it cool off. I took it out of the oven though. We're good. Let's resume. Yeah, you got Skamaz though if you're watching on YouTube and you just went ahead 5 minutes. You'll figure it out.
Will require a larger amount of players and a larger amount of dedication per player.
Got it. And we have our company of ready, able, and willing citizens
The glow
here
is cool.
to provide the support we need in order to succeed in our war preparations.
Those
So,
two guys look like
hurrah to
copy
you.
paste
Well
of each
done.
other.
Well done, everyone. Okay, so now that we've effectively completed the commission.
Yep. So if you want to press N again to open up that node UI.
Got it.
You'll notice that there is a completed tab next to your node UI, which shows that enough players have done the activity for you, and now this commission's on cooldown. So when your hand re-rolls once a day, if that commission cooldown is longer, you will lose that slot, and you won't be able to use that commission until that cooldown has ended.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so obviously the mayor needs to be somewhat prudent in the choices that they're making, even if
Also, the mayor has to be logged on when that becomes available if he wants to min max. So I would wonder if if the mayor can appoint a second in command to do his bidding. Probably not. So if the mayor just doesn't log on, he's griefing. Interesting.
they do get the opt-in from their citizens, there is so much power they have available to them to affect that change. It is governed to a degree by some time.
Exactly.
Cool.
But
Very
now
good.
that we've completed it, you've received, as a result of this commission, a war token, specifically for the territory war type of war. So if you want to go ahead to the node relationships tab.
Okay.
You'll notice there's a list of nodes here, specifically Winstead.
I do see that.
And if you want to go ahead and click on that declare war button, we won't do it right now, but just to show you the steps here that you would take, that declare war button there, and it shows there is a couple different types of war that you have access to.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All right. So territory control obviously makes sense. Test node war is obviously one of our QA testing war types. There will be a number of different war types that are available. That we'll talk about in a little bit as well.
Okay. Let's just talk about it now.
Well, so Steven, now that we have what we need to declare this war, do we want to go over to over to Winstead and kind of rub it in their face?
That'd be kind of badass if it was like, yeah, like declare war, or like 10 of your best men, like against 10 of your best men or something. You know, like the 1v1, like the Achilles, versus whatever his name was. You know what I mean? Like that'd be actually really cool. Like your best warrior versus our best warrior, and like that decides the war, right? Or like some like tournament esque, like jousting tournament followed by like fastest flyer, like some mount, like fly mount race, like, oh man, it could go places. It could really go places with that kind of different wars. I don't know what that means, but it'd be cool if there was like competition kind of thing, and it would just be like who's got the better flyer, who's got the better, Oh man, that'd be so cool. I really hope Steven hears this, or maybe I should like contact him and be like, hey, you guys have a really good idea with like the different types of war. You could like hold, some kind of tournament setting where it's like the best man from one versus the other, and then it's like a best of three or something. The best flyer, and then like the best, I don't know, like swimmer, I guess, because there's fucking water mounts. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think so. I think that
Something
would,
like
that would
that,
probably make sense. Let me give a quick inspiring speech, if I can, of course, to our glorious citizens. What's the name of our node? This is Miraleth. Miralethians! Noble, great, and honorable Miralethians. Our city has been denounced by a rival node, the Winstead node. They know nothing of our ways, of our people, but they know something not good. And
Fear. Anguish.
There, thank you. Fear, anguish. Well done. You're one of my lieutenants. Well done. Fear, anguish. They will know that soon enough, for they chose to stand against the will of Miraleth. Let us go forward and teach them the ways of our people. All right. We've done this. Miraleth, best prepare your brooms. You'll need them to sweep up something.
All right.
I didn't get that broadcast.
You should have prepared something.
Margaret's just loving the trash talk. Oh, sweep up our ashes. Well done. So, Chris, where are we planning to go?
Well, we were gonna go to Winstead, but I think we have company.
We have company. Wait,
We have unwanted company.
have they been spying on us? Who are these people?
Well, they're not affiliated with us.
They would dare to come to our town like this after we've just laid the gauntlet of war down?
Well, you haven't declared the war yet.
Oh, I haven't declared. Should I declare the war?
I mean, I feel like this is an optimal time to declare the war because we might get some easy kills.
You know what? I think you might be now. Okay, now of course, they can't hear or know what we're gonna do here, but
They have no idea what's coming.
No, they have no clue what is about to happen. But the territory control node war. Talk to me first, Chris, a little bit about the territory control node.
Yeah, so we'll get into some of the more depth of war while we're walking, but the territory control war, as it kind of sounds, is about controlling territory, right? So what this is going to do is it's going to flag us against each other, the citizens of our node and the citizens of the node you declare on, and then we'll do battle over certain POIs in both of our zones of influence and gain control over them based on winning those events in those POIs. And once we've accumulated enough victory points,
those
we'll
cloaks are cool.
Win the war, which gives our zone a big buff as well.
I approve of the node war, and let us destroy them in 3, 2, 1. Oh, get him!
Oh, the mount does like a crazy AoE.
Oh no.
Steven was getting attacked there
Oh,
a little
dear.
bit. I mean, obviously they were gonna get wrecked. That's
Did we
probably
get
on
them?
purpose. There's
I
only
think we
5,
cleaned
6 of
them
them
out.
there.
Oh.
What is that wall? That's cool.
I don't know where the dragon went, but that sounds like a future us problem.
Sure, that won't come by to bite us.
I think we did destroy them. You know, I think I'm missing my blink. Where is my blink?
You gotta close your eyes and then you open them again.
No, not that blink. And my bubble. Oh, there they were. And I should probably get this arcane eye. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so they tried to stop us, but we can't be stopped. Where should we go now?
Well, so before we run off, open up your node relationships tab again,
Okay, got it.
and you'll see there's an active war, and we've earned some points in this war. If you go to the top of that, yeah, right there,
Okay.
and we have 5 points because we killed 5 people.
Oh, nice. Okay, so during the war.
Oh wow! So you kill
obviously
1,000
we have
people and you
available to
win.
us This,
What if no one-
kind of performance?
What if there's not 1,000 people to kill though? That's the real question.
And each individual player can track their performance within the war as well.
Correct.
Okay, and then it says earn 1,000 victory points in
Find
order
out.
to win the war.
Correct. Now it's the end condition of this war. Now victory points are earned via kills and earned via completing objectives.
Okay. All right, cool. Awesome. Now, the event that it talks about, talk to me a
Yep.
little bit about that event.
So open up your map and scroll yourself over to, you'll see that, scroll to the left there, and you'll see there's a big circle around Highwayman Hills.
Oh, harness the God Spike. Currently, it says active is 31 players. Does that mean they have 31 players already there?
That means they already have 31 players there. We better get a
Oh.
move on.
We need to go. Let's start moving. Let me see if I have a little horse that I could summon. Did I? Where'd my horse go?
And I'm being
Where's
left
my
behind,
horse?
Steven.
I know. Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay. So, talk to me about the different types of war events and war types.
Yeah, so war types are going to be pretty predicated on what they're actually delivering to the winners and losers, right? So this one's a territory control. The crux of what this does is you claim territory, which siphons the node XP from the nodes
Little lag spike there, maybe?
from the POIs that you're winning these objectives at. It's also providing a luck buff there to prevent or to incentivize the players who win to go farm there, right, and generate more node XP for your node. We have other different types that we plan to have post day 2, like disabling services in the opposing node, siphoning gold, taking over mayorship temporarily.
Very cool. So there's a
Well,
lot of different
permanently.
options that we intend to provide, obviously, for the war system. And this is one of the primary methods of player friction, right? So we want to keep that kind of compelling, interesting from a design perspective, which all of these different war types are intending to provide. And throughout Alpha 2, we'll be introducing additional node war event types as well.
Correct.
Very cool. Talk to me,
that a
Kyle, a
mouse
little
print?
bit about authoring this node war system. How did you go about, keeping it modular and, capable of supporting all these different types of wars?
Well, given the game design document that Justo provided,
Game
the
looks
goal was,
beautiful.
of course, to provide something as flexible as possible to be able to give all of that design freedom. So we were able to leverage existing systems such as the game event system and the locale system to be able to give the a massive amount of varying content from war to war.
Awesome. And obviously, talk to me a little bit about kind of the difficulties of authoring a system like that.
Yeah, the difficulty is definitely having to work between different teams because the game event system and the locale system are authored by the narrative engineering team. So we have to make sure that we can work discipline to discipline to get the needs that are required to bring something like this to life.
Nice. Awesome. And Zach, obviously, node wars, node events, those are some of the more high player density types of gameplay loops.
Yeah, this is 35 versus 35, so we'll see. Because they said they want to do like over hundreds of people in the same area and have it not lag. Will Ashes be the first?
Tell me a little
I
bit
don't know.
about some of the
Let's see.
difficulties you had on the performance side, working with tech art, engineering, and artists to kind of get performance where we needed it to be for this higher player density.
Oh yeah, for sure. For performance, it's really been a refinement of our pipelines and processes and workflows with a pretty tight iteration loop on, testing, profiling, like auditing those profiles, like seeing what we're at, and then like correcting things that need to be corrected. And especially with an MMO, we really have to support like a large array of player experiences. So the game has to run great whether you're a solo player or you're playing in a group, and then it also has to run great for big events like these where there's going to be upwards to 100 players sometimes, right? So it's really been all hands on deck from all the disciplines to refine our current existing standards and make sure that we can hit performance while continuing to look good.
Awesome. Well, I have arrived at what I believe is our headquarters, and there appears to be
That's cool.
a significant portion of our garrison from the node that has arrived here, our guards. Where is the rest of our group? Oh, you guys should meet. Let's meet up here if we can at the headquarters, and let's
There's
do
a
some
portal
planning.
too.
I'm sure there's some significant strategies that we can employ. Right, Chris?
Oh yes, there is. So the lowdown. First things first is if you look at your objective tracker, there's some
I
stuff
see.
going on.
Okay.
We need to gather imbued blood and imbued materials. Now, imbued blood is going to drop off bandits that have this glowy particle effect to them, and imbued materials are going to drop off ruby caches that are all around the POI.
Okay. Well, let me
And
That
we
barricade?
have to do that before
Who
the
saw that?
enemy team.
I see.
If they complete it before us, we still can finish ours, but we'll be behind and they'll be on the victory condition.
Okay, so we're looking for these imbued bloods and the imbued material, and the bloods come from the bandits in the area.
Correct.
Okay, and the material are rubies that are kind of spawned throughout
That mount's
this
crazy.
particular zone. And let me open
Yeah.
up my map real quick.
Yep. So marked on your map is all of the ruby locations, but the bandit locations are not marked.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the bandits are kind of sprinkled throughout the area, and these locations here that I'm hovering over, these imbued material caches.
That's really cool because it's a lot of points of interest around their node and not necessarily just storm the castle and then GG's. So there's a little more strategy to it, or just like where do you send your forces? You're obviously gonna have certain nodes that are heavily enforced by the enemy, and then nodes that you have that are heavily enforced by you. So picking and choosing where you send your army or guild is cool, and it actually matters where. I mean, in these kind of situations, I feel like a lot of guilds just like, all right, commit to these 3 and just like, or like 5, and then just like forget the other ones. Like, why commit to these 3 out here when you have like 5 nodes that are somewhat close over here, right? So like these would be the heavily contested nodes, and you'd have like a few people or like, you know, a third of your party, you know, off here. If you can have like only 5 people go there and claim all 3 of these, hey, even better. All right. And that's just kind of like a Wrathy Basin vibe. If you've played WoW before, yeah, or you know, if you played New World, A, B, and C control point. They're all pushing A. You still keep a couple people on B and C because you don't want them getting it for free. You know, and it's all about managing players and putting them on the right nodes or locations so that you know, get the best advantage for yourselves, and don't get like farmed for free because you didn't send anyone to this node, and you know they got a free however many materials because no one contested it, and they only had one person there, so they really didn't lose anything. You know, they didn't lose numbers in regards to like the bigger fight by the, you know, centrally located or closer together 5 nodes over here, the more contested nodes.
Those are spawns around the area, and presumably that's where the enemy is going to be located as well, because we're all trying to acquire these in order to progress to the next stage.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, cool. Okay, so we should probably split up into 3 teams. If you are in party group 4 or group 5, you're going to be responsible for trying to acquire the ruby. So you're going to be going to those imbued ruby cache locations. Your primary objective is to avoid interacting with the enemy. You do not want to engage the enemy. If you see them, run. You're just acquiring these resources and trying to bring them back to where, Chris?
You got to bring him back here and talk to good old Scholar Thompson.
Okay.
They
All right,
can
cool.
probably
So you
camp.
guys-
The enemy team can probably camp this location too, kind of like Manhunt. If you ever played that when you were younger, you just defend the base, and no one. It's hard for someone to get back to the base when you're just standing on it, right? What they call it, like babysitting or whatever. It was like it's basically practically cheating, because you could why go out and look for anyone when you can just sit by the base and wait to try to tag them before they get to the base. So, yeah.
in group 4 and 5, you're going to acquire those. And probably if you're a ranger and can be camouflage, it would be beneficial for you to go out and try to acquire those. If you're in groups 1, 2, or 3, you're going to be running cover while killing the bandits. And then when they get the bandits' bloods, they're bringing those back as well.
Sorry, what was that? I was multitasking, Steven.
No worries, no worries. when they grab the bandits' blood, they're bringing those back as well.
They are bringing those back as well. Now, worth noting, they do drop on death, so if you end up with too much of them, be very careful.
Okay.
Nice.
Guys, I think before we head out,
Again, though, if they know you're gonna turn in here, they can just like, why not send the forces here and just camp this spot, and kill people before they turn in. You know, that's interesting. That's interesting. Something to think about.
I'd like. Hold on. Let me get in a good position for you. I'd like you to all gather around in front of the dragon. I'm going to give you an inspiring buff. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Planendorf.
Now, I know that this venture
Like Ganondorf.
would strike fear in the heart of normal men and women, but not in the hearts
Ooh.
of Miralethians. Go forward. Bring back the trophy that is... Oops, hold on. Hold on. Bring back the trophy that is the blood. Go forward.
Is that actually a buff?
Let us move.
Let's get 'em, lads.
Get them. Okay. So where are these bandits at that groups 1, 2, and 3 can go? Oh, I
So
see
they're
some
gonna-
over here.
Yeah, they're going to be all over the POI. They've got this lovely little glow to them to signify their importance.
Okay. Cool.
Really beautiful
And if you
area.
come over here, we got a nice little cache of rubies as well.
Where's the rubies at?
Just
Oh, I
south
see. I see.
west.
I'm just kind of I'm kind of watching out for the enemy while you guys are harvesting those rubies and killing the bandits. Ooh. Very nice. So far I don't see any. I see this light emanating from the center of this area over here.
Yep.
Is that
so
the God Spike?
Well, there's
that's the
glint
God
too,
Spike.
so
Now,
everyone's gonna want to
that
do the
is what
glint
we are gathering
activities.
these materials for, and then we're gonna channel.
Hopefully
these
enemies
materials
drop glint then,
into
so that like no one
harnessing
wants to
that,
just kill
like,
bandits.
Raw power that's emanating from the center of Highwayman Hills, so that we can steal the node experience and get ourselves a nice little luck buff in the POI after we win, because we never lose.
We have some enemies over here that I can see. We should probably get groups 1, 2, and 3 over here to interrupt them. It looks like is that us with the progress of 2?
That is us with the progress of 2.
Okay. All right. We've taken the lead.
Let's see. I'm running back a small stack of materials here.
Let me see where the raid's at. Okay. Looks like we are bringing in a bunch of materials. Talk to me, talk to me, Nathan, about what this process has been like from a production standpoint.
Yeah, it's been a super interesting one for us. Like, games are really always these really janky combinations of software and art and design, and all of these things are kind of coming together in a way that makes them inherently difficult to put out to the public. I've had my fair share of rocky launches in the past, and so what we've been really focusing on this time around is
True.
making sure that we're kind of honing that process early to try to make Alpha 2 day one as smooth as possible. Obviously it's going to have some hitches, but this has been a really good opportunity for us to get in the habit of pushing a build out, getting feedback from people around the world, figuring out like what's wrong with their specific setup at home, so that then we can identify those issues, triage those issues, fix the ones that we can, in order for us to push a build out for the next round of playtesting, which we've been doing every 1 to 2 weeks for the last couple
he's
of months, I think.
overextending.
And so that's been, like, from a production standpoint, a really awesome kind of test run for us to get in the habit of this, like live service game that we're going to be supporting for a really long time. So that's been a lot of fun. A lot of work, but it's good.
Oh yeah, yeah. You guys done a great job on production side of this.
Yeah, I hope
This
that
feature-
they don't listen to people in terms of balancing and that sort of nature, like them just focusing on software issues, and figuring that stuff out is fine. I just think I've seen it so many times in games like Diablo 4 even, where people complain about balancing and things like that, and they were complaining in D4 about balancing at level 25, where it's like you've only seen a quarter of the game and you're talking about balancing at level 25. Like, the game goes to 100, level 100. Think about that. So I think it's in their best interest to trust themselves and really stay with their own balancing of the game and not change anything, and keep all the external voices out and don't let them in, because a lot of those voices, that complain on forums or wherever, don't know what they're talking about, and either want their class, better because they don't understand other classes and how to counter them. That's like what I've learned. Sometimes it's, you can definitely tell there are certain classes that are strong. But that's the reality in games. You know, there are flavors of the month, and that's fine. And it's the same with Plunderstorm, with Plunder from WoW. You know, there's a meta. So why nerf something? Why nerf Firestorm? Why nerf this, that, the other thing? Because then something else just becomes meta. So it's okay that certain abilities are meta for a month or for a while, or certain classes are meta for a month, and to alternate that, that's okay. I think that's not a bad thing. The second you start nerfing things, though, and making it unenjoyable, especially when players, you know, have gotten used to that and really, you know, like that level of power, or, you know, maybe certain ability, whatever play style, that's when you start losing player base. So it's a very delicate process for sure. I just think that I've never seen. I mean, not never. I won't say that. It's rare that you know, the player's influence is ever, you know, better than, you know, people who are paid to work on the game. Especially when there's passion behind it. You know, now in like WoW, I believe the players can make a better WoW than the devs, because they don't really care about the game like the players do. The players have like 20 plus years in it. You know, the devs, the OG devs, I mean, it was their Dungeons and Dragons game, so of course they had the passion for it, and that's why it was so good. And I think that passion's gone. I think though, for Ashes, that the passion's really there, and Steven really does. This is his baby. He really wants it to be a really good game. So, with that in mind, don't listen to anybody. Just do your own thing, and especially like until release, unless there's something that's like catastrophically wrong, you know. At that point, though, you just figure it out on your own, right? So, don't listen to people. That's my biggest advice, because I've seen so many games destroyed because of that.
It's obviously a very, very detailed and encompassing feature. Touches a lot of different pieces. I see we have some great
Hardware
uses
testing
of
is
the
fine,
tank
though.
wall. Some of you
Take
from
feedback for
APOC
that. Oh,
may
my
be
2090
remembering that particular wall.
or 2080 is freaking out in this area. Or
We're
something.
having a
Okay,
significant
fine.
little battle over here.
Yeah, that's been one of the things we've been trying to work on, right? Is you know, making sure that those objectives
Or like, oh, this
really help
ability's
funnel
bugged, like it's
people
not
towards
working.
those
That's,
points
you know, those kind of
conflict.
things are
I think some
okay.
of what was interesting here is some of our earlier iterations had us, you know, it was kind of like this phase one where people just kind of PvE'd the whole time, and while we want to find that balance between
Yeah, that's what I was
PvE,
saying.
PvP, where we become this really PvX game. And so that's been an area of focus for us, is like making sure that these objectives are things that people want to interact with and then fight over.
Yeah. You have to make them more valuable than the
This
bandits,
is a good little fight.
like the PvE
I'm
stuff.
getting hit hard. I think I lost one of my abilities.
Like
I'm gonna grab it
a
back.
good way to fix that would be like making it kind of like, you know, an Arathi Basin or King of the Hill, whatever scenario, where the team has to control the point, right? So you need a lot of people there. So you stack people on that point or area so that you control it, and while you control it, like, you're gaining, you know, more resources, and there might be 3 of these locations around, so you're just, you know, kind of like, you know, New World, except for New World was just literally like they weren't like that far apart, I guess. You could spread these out. I mean, the node's pretty big. You can spread them out. So you really have to be strategic about troop positioning, player positioning. And you could still farm bandits. The reality is, though, you'll get more points from controlling the nodes, you know. And the locations could change. You know, it could be every few minutes, you know, every 5 minutes, like the location will change. You know, so that it's not just, oh, we've dominated this position, now we hold this until we win. No, oh, it shifted. okay, now the other team has given up on that node. Maybe they reinforce another one. They're waiting for the next one to spawn. Then they get there first. They have the high ground Anakin. It gives them a chance. Yeah, that has to be more rewarding, though, than the bandits. Because, like they said, people will just. You have to realize that in today's gaming world, it's all about min maxing. So people are going to try to min max, like, till they're blue in the face, you know? So if PvP is not min maxed, then everyone PvEs. So you have to make it so that PvP is min max, and then people will PvP. So you basically you kind of make the bandits like not really worth it, essentially, and you just have like a few people doing that as like a constant, acquisition of points or whatever it is. But the real point grabber are like, the areas of interest, or, king of the hill locations, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. I think that'd be a great idea.
There we go.
And I think the bigger thing about those is always changing the location. Because if you have them at the same spot, then it becomes kind of like New World, where they just stack bodies and like just drop fucking massive AoEs and stuff. And that might still happen. But you strategically would not stack on there, because you would get AoE cranked down. And that's the other thing about points of interest, is then you would look for more it could be weird because you can have more mages, right, that just do a ton of AoE. So you just, if one team brings all mages, then you have an advantage, because like you're just, or like, in New World it was like you bring all melee, because the melee AoE like wasn't nerfed, right? But the mage AoE was, and they just all would stay on the node with like all the heals, because all the healers would only drop like AoE heals, and whoever had more melee would win in New World. So yeah, it could become a situation like that. So that's the only other thing to consider, I guess, when you talk about like King of the Hill locations. Yeah. It could be, you know what it could be though? It could be like a hut ball situation, or like a ball, like what was in Halo, like to control the skull, right? And you have to kill that player. They drop the skull, and then it's like a free for all. It maybe takes like 10 seconds before it can be picked up again, because if they're back into enemy lines or something, then it gives your team to like time to push. That could be cool too. Obviously that person would be in their back line the whole time, so you'd have to like wipe them, or have like a rogue like come in and grab it when it's on respawn and just dash, or get like pulled, if there's a priest pull or something, right? Like leap of faith type thing, and pull them back. That could be cool too. I mean, there are plenty of ideas that you can implement, and you can alternate them. You can change it so that it's not always the same thing, right? Because teams might try to prepare, like, all right, if they know it's going to be like King of the Hill, they just stack like whatever is the most OP for that. You can swap it so that it's like, it's like control the skull or whatever, and then they don't know. That's why you never stack one, because it always alternates the way that you gather points to take over this node or whatever. It always changes. So it could be King of the Hill, it could be control the ball or the skull, whatever. It could be capture a flag kind of thing. You know what I mean? And obviously there are different classes that would excel, or at these different activities to win the node. And because it's random, you can't stack one class to be like, okay, this is definitely what we're gonna stack, because we know it's King of the Hill every time. Warriors, tanks, healers only, no casters. Let's just saying, because like New World did that. No, you have to bring variety, because the rogue's really good at capture the flag, because they have like so much movement and like stealth, whatever. Probably couldn't stealth with the flag, but you get the point, right? Or like, the control the orb. Oh, mages are the best because they have a ton of mobility, blinks and stuff. Like a lot of CC, like Novas. So you'd always bring a variety, because you have to consider all the multiple, game choices for like capturing the node. That would actually be really cool. It'd be really cool. You can even have like a MOBA style version, like Wrathy Basin Works on Gulch. You know, AV, which is basically like a MOBA, like Dota or whatever, right? You'd have like different game modes, and then you never know what to stack because the game mode's always different. So that'd be really cool. Hopefully somebody watches this that works for Intrepid Studios. If not, it's my fault for not contacting them, I guess.
I see
Yeah.
Dread, and he's down.
Only took 10 of you.
Unbelievable.
It's the skill difference.
That'd be really cool though, right? Because it would always feel like fresh or new, and people are like, oh crap, it's this one, or like, oh yes, it's this one. You know. And then for the future, you could add more game types to make it like more interesting, and get people to still
Let's move forward.
Capture nodes. There's replayability because it's multiple
Let's keep pushing.
games
Go
within
on,
like the
Maris.
node system for capturing
Oh, I got rooted.
and defending.
There we go. And slowed. Oh, there's Margaret.
Oh, get her.
She's on the dragon though.
Slash nuke?
No. Okay, we're pushing them back.
That was definitely a god mode control command right there. What he said.
I've got Brian on my target.
Try slash nuke in the alpha. You might get banned if it
God.
works, but
Oh god, need help. Backed out.
you could probably one shot somebody.
Yeah, I do
Protect
feel
the king!
wildly in danger.
Not the king, the mayor.
All right, let's get the group around me if you can. I'm going to use one of the mayor abilities to give us some offensive power.
Wait, really? There are mayor abilities? It's
And
actually
Chris, as I do
crazy.
this, talk to me a little bit about this ability.
Yeah, so
Go forward.
different node types have different mayor abilities that can be used in different scenarios, right? So what you just used is the war ability afforded to a scientific node,
Push.
and those abilities give a very large mitigation and
You're a
damage
mage.
buff to the players within your range when you use them.
Wonder for how long.
How long does that ability last?
There we go.
I believe the buff is 5 minutes.
Wow.
Our wonderful Dr. Bucky made those for us.
Oh, he got away.
They're flanking on the bridge.
On the bridge?
That's cool.
Coming back around. Oh, they are. How's the progress going? 76 for them, 15 for us? Oh my gosh.
No.
No, that's
We have two objectives, Steven. The
Oh,
top one is we're at 15 out of 100. The bottom one, we're at 76 out of 100.
Oh, okay, perfect. That was concerning.
But you'll notice there is an enemy progress bar right below that too to show how far along they are.
Well, how do you see how far along you
Looks
are?
like they're slacking though.
Technically. There should be two
Okay.
bars just to,
I've got a
because you don't want to have to
couple
play
flankers
guessing
over here.
games. You you can see your numbers,
That's a good little blink.
but they could that enemy bar could. How do you know they're not at the same progress
It's
as
also
you?
been really fun to see the metas kind of evolve over these playtests.
I mean, I guess 100 would mean they're
We
halfway.
had a point where there was the tank wall
I don't know,
ability was a little too strong, and got a chance to fix that before the recording, and that's just kind of been a really fun process over the last couple of months here. Cleric, thankfully, still OP for me, so you love to see it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Healers
that
have to
cleric
live
is,
so that you can play the
very
game.
strong.
Cleric will always have a free pass at being OP, and it's one role that it excels at, if nothing else. It's
Yeah,
gotta be the best healer.
you heard that. If you want to play healer, play
Advanced
cleric.
MX down.
There you go.
Let's get
That was
not
nice
off.
of him to let you do.
I know, right? He's almost dead.
Like Trad, Keenan, I'm curious if there have been any you were talking earlier about some of the surprises that have come out of the playtesting. I was wondering if you guys had any examples of things that you weren't expecting, but saw when we started really putting this combat system to test.
It doesn't seem like it's lagging, so that's
I
a
mean,
good
nothing
sign.
that we weren't really expecting completely.
Love
but
seeing that.
It has definitely been a huge help, just like uncovering, smaller imbalances here and there. Like the wall thing that you mentioned, for example, was a thing we actually knew was an issue and had fixed on another build, but like it was still funny seeing that like get completely taken advantage
Abused,
of it. Yeah, and it like showed some interesting like strategies, like how people would use them to zone each other in these little hallways and almost create your own effective like little corridors on the open battlefield. So we definitely want to see some of that sort of thing. It's just a matter of balancing that.
Yeah. Also, I really like that the mayors have like the AOE buff, and I don't know if they'll necessarily have the dragon mounts, but they have these extra buffs, so it's kind of like real war where you protect I guess the king, or in this case mayor, so they're not in the front line, they're more of a play in the back character. So I mean, strategically speaking, I mean, maybe it's not that bad to have like a cleric be mayor, or somebody that's in the back line that's not going to have to put themselves out there, because if it's like a melee and they're just sitting back there, then yeah, that's not really that great, because you're losing their damage or utility if they're a healer. So strategically, it's probably best to make the mayor a healer or caster or like ranger or something like that, where they can comfortably sit in the back and still do damage, but not put themselves at high risk, so they can continue to buff everyone when needed, etc. So, or just maybe a beefy tank, and be in the front line. Kind of dangerous, but if you have the right healers and stuff, they might never die. So, yeah, and they can always buff the melee because they'll always be up in the front.
I think I died behind enemy lines.
Oh no.
Ooh, that's
Mayor's
bad.
down.
Yeah, if you have to
Don't worry,
respawn.
guys, don't worry, guys. I turned in 2 blood.
Oof.
Oh,
I
putting
know.
in so much work,
Yeah.
Nathan.
Yeah. That's
We still need more of the imbued bloods. That's the bandits, right?
That's the bandits. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna try to find some bandits to kill while you guys continue to hold them off. We need more people on bandits.
Yep, and bandits for this event are a little bit more scarce, but respawn a lot faster than the rubies, where the rubies are a bit more plentiful, but have a much slower reset rate.
Got it.
Their
There's
progress
the
is about
healers
the same.
coming in at the last hour.
Not finding any bandits.
They killed them all.
The thing is, though, there's like, other than controlling like where crystals spawn or bandits spawn, there's really, it really brings me back to this point of like trying to get people to stray away from only PvEing. It just kind of seems like that's, for a game that wants to be all about PvP, the two objectives are PvE based. So that is kind of interesting. And there's no reward for killing the enemies. I mean, there is if you can control a zone and you get more of the, there might be like a more populated area for, the bandits or for the crystals, right? So that makes sense. If you control that area, then you control the crystals or the bandit spawns. So I guess that's fine. Yeah. And technically, if you kill the people that are farming them, then you can steal theirs, right? So I guess that seems okay, actually. Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with that.
Yeah, there's a definite balance between.
It'd be nice
targeting
though
the
if there was
PvE
like a
objectives and the
reward
PvP,
for
because
if there was like a
the
third
drops
objective and it was like
that you need to turn
player
in,
kills.
also can drop from players.
Because why
So
not?
Sometimes you'll want to gank people that you see because they might have some of the stuff that you need to turn in for
Yeah.
credit toward the war.
See the God Spike.
But still,
But it's also really easy to get trapped in long, drawn-out PvP engagements and let the enemy team just grind
Yeah.
out resources.
Wow, what a great spot.
And that's part of the strategy. Is like, you know, sometimes you'll want to tank up and have a bunch of people distract the group from doing the objectives while you're sending out those little side squads. We've done that a few times in our own testing for sure.
Yeah.
Found some bandits.
Oh no. Oh, that's us. Never mind.
All right, getting some bandit bloods. Oh, there's an enemy here.
An enemy in a PvP zone? That's crazy.
Oh no, I might need some help.
So it's looking like at least Queen's
Wow.
is done with the rubies, so we need to focus on bandits now. So there's going to be a lot of competition on those.
Yeah, we're done with rubies too. So you're in danger.
What is this PvPvE?
That was a long range.
Shot from above.
Dang. Ooh, does he outrange the mage? Hunter outrange the mage?
They went. All right, we got some bandits over here.
You guys know me. I play like warrior, mage. I mean, I play everything because I'm an alcoholic. I really might play hunter in this game. If they outrange mages and you can just like stand on like and be annoying on like buildings and stuff, and they have good escape too, we might have to be a ranger.
And just do you want to talk about some of the other use cases that like we're hoping people will incentivize people to want to engage in war?
Yeah, I mean, we have like the goal here is kind of twofold for war, right? There is the player rewards.
I don't
side of
mind
it, and
warrior
then
either though.
there's
If they're like super kind of
node
tanky and you can
reward
like go
side of it.
in, do a little
Obviously, we
damage and
want
go
players
out.
to be invested in nodes and invested in
It's
what
kinda
they
like
have and
classic.
what they can do. So you know,
Unless you have a
those things
pocket
are
healer.
relics, their services, their resources, and you know these wars can deny and even steal those things from other nodes, but also they're personally rewarding, right? Like we want to make sure players are getting something immediate for themselves, because obviously we know most players aren't going to run a node, and not every player is going to be invested as nodes as some other players.
Yeah.
So you know those personal rewards, as we've talked about a little bit,
Oh,
in the case of this event, will result in a buff farming in this POI. So if there's some sweet loot that you're looking for from this POI, winning here is really valuable because you're higher odds of getting it in the future, or you know, while you're farming here post this event.
Yeah,
On
and
top of your
oh, go ahead.
on top of your traditional, just like some XP and some glint, you know, and
Right.
potentially those kinds of things, and node currency.
Well, and that's been kind of like a big part of these. So I think we talked about this actually last time we were talking about nodes during the Caravan livestream, but that's been a big part of the design ethos of the nodes team is like making sure that there are a lot of reasons to
risky business.
participate in nodes, so that you don't just like node participation isn't just relegated to that like top 1% most active, most attentive players. Like you can still you still have reasons to contribute and participate for on a lot of axes.
Well, and it's also about making sure that like you're not just doing it out of the good of your heart, right? You're doing
Yeah,
it
for
because
sure.
you're getting something for your player progression immediately.
That's good.
And you can let like the big brained kind of Zerg leaders manage the more high end.
Right.
Yeah, and that's good because no one wants to do anything out of the kindness of their heart. Everyone wants to be rewarded. So that is definitely a good thing. And I would imagine that, you know, aside from the guild that owns a node, players outside of those guilds can help and fight in the war. Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe.
Holy smokes!
Dude,
I think
that
I just
Because there's incentive.
ran into
If you know that a guild owns a node, they're fair with their taxes, and whatever, they put up the right quests, or it's a node that's been progressed, and you want it to continue progressing, so you can get an item from that area, or that unlocks a dungeon, whatever. Then that's even more reason to help. But getting rewards like regions, or gold is always a bonus. It's always good. More incentive, as long as that incentive is actually valuable, and it's not like, oh well, I can get the same amount if not more, not doing the war. But the war is fun, so you put in the fun aspect, obviously. But again, min maxers are going to do whatever's best. So
a maelstrom.
most efficient.
We had some flankers over here. Did not work out for them.
Well, it feels
They're
like
gonna lose.
like outnumbering us. Are there any planned protections for just Zerg v Zerg fights for large scale PvP?
Some of that comes down to how we design the events, right? But some of it also comes down to combat design. This event in particular, we're trying to fan players out by having lots of small things they have to do. And then at the end, when we need to fight over this, channeling this god.
I mean, sure, but at the end of the day, the reality is the side with more players has the advantage and usually ends up winning, especially if it's a massive difference, like 300 to like 100.
God spike is when Zergs are supposed to come together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So creating a place for Zergs to have something that they want to do, because there are people that do like Zerg combat versus people that prefer the smaller skirmishes.
I think really the way you incentivize it too is like there's no stopping players from Zerg v Zerging if they want, but if the objectives reward maximally, like splitting your forces, and ways we do that is we'll create simultaneous objectives in very highly different areas of the map. So if you're a one big Zerg ball, you might be winning your encounters, but you're not winning at divide and conquering, so to speak. So eventually, like, players will learn, like, yeah, if we play this way, we're not going to be as effective.
Ooh. We need more imbued blood.
Yeah, we're falling really far behind.
Oh no.
Those are the off of the bandits.
Those are off the bandits, right?
Maybe we should break up and have everybody kind of try to get the bandits.
It's over.
Yeah, I know a pretty good spot for the bandits, but it's kind of in dangerous territory.
Oh, interesting. See, it
I
doesn't
think
show
at
the
this
enemy
point we
progress
should
at
take a risk.
100%.
The enemy progress is pretty high.
I do believe danger is all of our middle names, so this should work out.
True.
All right, so it's just south and west of the
Wait, what?
of the enemy's camp.
They were at 100. It knocked down.
Okay. Let's try to move south and west.
You guys saw that, right?
South and west.
I'm not gonna make it there. Social media man, why?
Social media man.
Truly the bane of everyone's existence.
Dude, that guy's got a crazy KD on me.
Oh no. Gotta work on that nemesis system, right?
That's right.
Oh, that's
I got
cool.
him though. Right in time for
Kind of like
Proud to
Honor
kill
Spy.
me.
Just
From
put him on
Hell's Heart.
KOS list.
Okay. Who's our raid leader? I need a raid invite. I just saw a ranger run past me in Biz. That was concerning. Mildly concerning.
I'm in danger.
They're so far behind, it's insane.
Who's our raid leader?
I'm not sure.
Is it Vaknar?
Beckner's on his way.
See if Faknar can give me a invite. Oh,
Oh no.
they've beaten us to the channel point.
So now things become
was
even more
that?
challenging for us because we've got to balance holding them off of the objective while also trying to get more resources. So this is a tough spot for us to be in for sure.
Yeah,
Now-
this is rough. Now we have ways to deal with that, though, right?
Now there is some built-in catch-up mechanics. In a few minutes here, some scholars are going to spawn across the POI. They'll be marked on our map. And they're going to increase the time it's required for the enemy to channel and drop a hefty amount of the materials we need to turn in to be able to channel ourselves.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
there's only 4 though, so how
but
like
these guys
what's-
are, you know,
how hefty are we talking?
group difficulty.
Because it might
for
get to a
people
point
about-
where it's like, oh, GG, we only have 50. They drop, 10 each. That's only 40. I guess that would be a lot. They drop 5 each. That's only 20. Oh, we'll never make it. We're only gonna have 70. We still need 30, and we have to keep them off. Oh man. Oh
level.
jeez.
We're definitely not going to be able to send just like a small squad of 1 or 2 people.
Where are those? Where we should gather up? Gather up at the headquarters.
Yep. Looks like they're popping in right now. If you look at your map, they're these little red swords.
This guy cleric, he's always fighting. He's always fighting like alone.
Okay, let's get the team to kind of regroup. Let's regroup at the headquarters, and then we can try to make our way to those locations. And what are those again?
Those are scholars that are helping the process of channeling. So if we kill them, it'll make it slower for them, and we'll steal some of their materials.
Got it.
I am grouped up at the base that also has a respawn point. They are not related facts. I definitely didn't just get killed by Trat.
Oh no.
No, that can't happen.
Nah, Trad's never killed anyone in his life.
I'm a pacifist fighter.
All right, let's head out.
All right, so there's going to be a scholar over here. Looks like some of our guys are already engaging it.
All right, let's go. Let's do
Oh,
this.
we got it.
Oh, we actually already killed him.
You'll love to see it.
Nice.
Now they're really taking their sweet time going to channel, though.
That's good. So we've killed 1 out of 4 of the scholars.
Yep. I'm heading to the next one right now, but I'm going to need some healers.
I'm gonna keep an eye on them, see what they're doing.
Justo, you have my focus wand?
No,
Sword?
Trad's here camping me.
They didn't say how long it
See
takes to channel it though. I guess it's subject to change,
Okay, they're
but
definitely about to channel. Or they are channeling.
I need heals.
I think we might need to
Heels
try to
down.
interrupt their channel.
seems like Warrior's doing okay. Dred's the Warrior player.
Alright. Dread's down, we gotta take the scholar down.
Yeah, we got a good group here.
They are. Is that so? The progress bar, is that their channel progress?
That's their
That's right.
channel progress, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh wow, so that just
So it should have just
took it
gone
down.
down. We just took one of the scholars down.
Nice.
And killing all the scholars effectively doubles their channel time.
I was gonna say because you don't want to
Okay.
kill them early.
We've got 2 scholars left to kill. If we
Like
can hold them off.
my question is, when Like if you kill a scholar before they start channeling, does it add to the duration, or you you get screwed? I would imagine that it still increases the duration. I don't know.
Long enough?
Probably.
And yeah, we're almost at 100 of the imbued blood, so we still need people killing the bandits while
It'll
we
be interesting
delay
to see
them
how
with
people
the
play
channel.
this out in
Yes,
alpha.
I've engaged the next one, but it seems like no one followed me here.
Oh
Solo it.
no. I'm gonna check out their.
I'm right here. What did you stuff?
So that guy is.
Check out their headquarters.
That wall is OP. Who cast the wall?
Oh no. I'm in danger. Here, turn on these guys.
That ability is massive.
Oh no. I'm gonna see if I can try to distract them.
I'm at like 50%.
Goat, I think, is the one.
He's
Oh,
level
no,
15?
Keenage is the one. He's almost at 50%.
No. Leave
Wait,
me alone.
they're level 15.
We need to take out Keenage.
No.
Where's the squad? It looks like all.
We're coming in.
Don't mind me.
Oh, we only need two more. We only need 2 more blood.
Hey, I'm just vibing over here. What are you guys doing?
Oh, see, now they have scholars
gotta
too to
clear-
screw up their cast.
We have to
Ooh.
clear the enemy team off the God Spike to be able to channel.
I did a little dive bomb on Keenan. But not anybody
Oh
here to
no,
follow
that's a
up.
lot of red. Oh
I'm on
god.
my way.
They're keeping him up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Oh,
Good
Keenan's
retake.
down. Okay, there we go.
Hell, well.
I'm surprised they can't shoot him on the dragon.
All right. We've got some clerics on the point if we want to have people try to channel.
That actually surprised me. I think they did a lot of
It would
damage.
have been embarrassing to lose to a ranger, you know? Since we're-
Oh, no. They're definitely
Wait, what?
pretty
All
injured.
right.
Why is it embarrassing to lose
Wait,
a ranger?
switch
What?
in.
Huh?
Keep heals on Xeonin.
Don't scare me like that. I'm out here announcing my faith to Ranger.
Let me see if I can dive bomb them again.
Getting nuked on by that. Ranger. Dude, that does 25% of their health.
Got the pocket heals?
That's
Now,
awesome.
Nathan, you got the pocket res?
No.
I'm never having you on my team again, dude.
It's like actually having a dragon
Oh, no.
part of the war. It's cool.
Xeonin left. Are you even in the raid, bro? How am I supposed to res you if you're not in the raid?
Nah, I fell
I'm
out of
surprised it
the
doesn't
raid.
have a
Oh, man. Well, it sounds like a skill
Okay.
issue.
like flame
Looks
breath.
like we're channeling.
Oh, we dropped a channel?
Will they put a trap? See, flame breath would be so cool there, right there. Oh, is that also a damage ability?
You better
That's
heal
cool.
your channeler. It's gonna be death from above.
Oh no.
I'm trying.
Let me give you some of my mayoral abilities.
I love that. I love that there's spots. They're high ground, kind of
nice.
annoying to get to
Nice.
for casters.
Big buffs coming through.
Push.
Love it.
Push.
Full variety.
Oh, no.
Melee probably gonna hate that, but melee can
Oh,
go
I'm
up there and
super
just
stunned.
crank them.
Why,
Got him.
Trad? Why?
It was worth the death. I had to.
It's like he doesn't even want me to play the game.
Gotta go Zerg diving every now and then.
Keep
Zug Zug.
pushing.
Any Zuggers?
All right, Eli's our channeler. Get them heals on him.
You probably just have a tank channel and get a good amount.
We're pushing. Nice.
Oh
So
my
these
god.
mayoral and dragon abilities are pretty impactful. Do you, combat team, do y'all want to talk through like what you guys were going for there? What you're
Yeah, I think it's
seeing
great.
these look like as we kind of move forward into A2?
Yeah, I mean the point at least of the flying mount having such powerful abilities is there's only really expected to be one of them per side, in at least wars like this, you know, because these would be more exclusive to the mayor, so they're intended to be really impactful, and also a high priority target because you can kill the mount and you can kill the rider. So it's on the mayor to be very careful, like when they're putting themselves, you know, in danger to activate these abilities because they themselves are such a high priority target.
Yeah. Especially with the mayor buffs too. Can't
Oh,
forget
man.
about
How are we doing on the channel?
Not good.
We keep getting pushed off of it, unfortunately.
I think like we need to try to organize everyone to move along the left side and try to push into them.
that. You just left them out there. Can they
See
steal
if
it?
Can give us one more ability. Here's some. Let's try to push together.
Nice.
Physical power though. You need to give
I need some
casters.
Baka heals on Winstead.
Don't do that.
Oh, this guy.
Brad,
This,
stop trying to kill our channelers. It's not nice.
Damn.
It isn't nice. There we go.
I
Nice
didn't
use
know
of the
this was a-
walls.
Was this a tea party? I was not informed.
Ooh, that was a good one.
So we're having a lot of deaths here. I'm sure people are worried about like, what does being in a war mean when your rate of dying probably increases a lot more than what you'd expect when doing normal kind of like PvE gameplay?
Yeah, so during sanctioned PvP events,
Ooh.
we turn off typical death penalties, right? Like you're not going to get res penalties, you're not going to get XP debt.
Love that. Love these little
You're
side
not gonna
fights
get
too. See?
durability damage. You will still drop the things you have in your inventory though, or in your material inventory specifically.
So obviously that's like a big part of this game mode. As far as like the larger
The areas
idea
look really
for
cool,
material
too.
inventory, what was sort of the thinking behind that, or is that just sort of like a convenient thing to make sure that we're used to things? Oh, there you go.
I mean, don't stuff your material inventory full of stuff
Oh, they won.
before
Yeah.
you go to war.
Makes sense to me. You know, when you're right, you're right. What can I say?
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh no.
Now we clean up.
That's a problem.
Victory in death. Winstead scum.
Oh my god, they've taken it back.
How are you
Alright,
guys
so what
gonna take
happens?
advantage of that luck bonus if you don't control the zone?
We won, Steven.
Did we win?
We win. You weren't even paying attention.
Oh, how did we win?
We finished channeling.
It was my clutch heals ignoring the siren song of Justo endlessly asking for reses and focusing on real targets.
I
You
thought
guys
Trad
may
kept
have won the
killing you.
war, but you will not win the
The battle. I think that's a little backwards.
Well, you may say that, Keenan, but if you look at the point distribution, we're 800 to 304 right now.
Ooh, that's right. Let's take a look at that.
How'd you guys get so many points?
Well, we won objectives and killed you a lot.
Oh my god.
So okay, so we completed the event. That's obviously not the end of the war, though, right?
Correct. So basically, the way wars are structured is a war contains phases, and phases contain events. So there are conditions to win a phase, and then there are conditions to win a war. Winning a phase gets you some amount of like in the moment rewards and some more long-term rewards. Winning events gets you some amount of in the moment rewards and long-term rewards, and then the war is like the massive objective that you're competing towards.
Got it.
So what we have gotten, if you open up your map, you can hover over this blue banner. You notice Highwayman Hills is controlled by Miraleth now.
Ah, so we've made an incursion into their area.
Yeah, so now all of the territory associated with Highwayman Hills is ours, and the node XP from here goes to our node. And as a way to kind of incentivize players to play here, we've given a luck buff in this area as well, so you can get increased loot drops while you're here, farming for your node.
Nice. So the citizens of Miraleth are rewarded for some period of time based on the event outcome.
Correct. So if we had lost, we would not be getting this buff or siphoning this node XP, and Winstead would be getting this buff for successfully defending their home.
Now, obviously, this is one of many different war events, and one of the war events reward types. What are some of the other events that we're going to be introducing during Alpha 2?
Yeah, so a big one we want to do is the service denial. So that'd be like turning off your caravansary or shutting down your construction buildings for a period of time, right? So like you've built the best blacksmith on the server, and we don't want this node gearing up for something, or we're trying to compete with them, and we want the best blacksmith at our node, so we're gonna go to war and try and shut down that service for a period of time.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
You know, the kind of most exciting post A2 one that we want to do is relic based, where you could potentially steal a relic from a node or destroy their relic so it's reintroduced into the world, and you can and now your node can acquire it.
Oh, definitely.
Awesome. And then obviously we have, we talked a little bit about the mount and how we're going to be moving that to level 3, the level 3 village node for the purposes of entrance A2. Same with the mayoral abilities, and those mayoral abilities are only activatable during events or outside of the events as well.
So the mayoral abilities you used in this showcase are only activatable during a war.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that means you could activate it, now that the event's over, you could still use that ability, but only within the context of this PvP kind of state that the two nodes are in. But the mayors will also get access to like special abilities they can use during sieges as well that are unique to sieges.
Oh, very cool. Love it. Now, obviously, people watching the
So war
the
versus siege,
showcase today about
two different
the
things.
Node War and the Node War events. Performance is something that we are going to be getting really into over the course of the next.
Like if war is just going to war and taking a node, and then a siege is just literally taking over the node, wouldn't everyone just siege and no one would ever go to war? I don't know the difference. I just think that if siege is taking over, everyone will just siege. No one will go to war, because war, take over a node. Do you eventually, if you keep warring, do you eventually take over everything, or what? It's like a slow roll into stealing everything, or it's just, you siege to take over like a territory or a node, because everyone's just gonna siege, and then the war is aren't really gonna exist. Right?
We have gotten into over the course of the last couple of months, but we're really going to be digging into it over the course of the next couple of months as well. What can players expect to see both on the client side and on the network side? Talk to me a little bit about that, Zach, that work.
So for the client side, we really expect this to be like a seamless experience to where we're gonna have some like dynamic load balancers that help, you know, the best case and the worst case, where the best case is you're, you know, in a group by yourself, and the visual fidelity of that should be just as good as the visual fidelity of, you know, the large scale sieges or node wars and things like that. So
Everything seemed pretty good
we're
here.
refining our character shaders, and everything is going to be really in the back end, right? So the player experience should really be seamless, and we handle everything under the hood to make sure that, you know, you get good frame rate during these different types of experiences.
And players are also going to have a lot of options when it comes to kind of tuning that experience for their specific hardware. I know one of those that we recently have instituted is DLSS. You want to talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the DLSS integration has been great. On the 40 series NVIDIA cards, we've been able to like nearly double our frame rate just by enabling the feature, right? So it's been a pretty big win for us.
Yeah.
Well, they've
and then
upgraded.
obviously, one aspect
They're off
of,
the 2080s.
you know, the game that you guys are witnessing currently in the showcases that we've given over our different features has been, you know, visual effects as a whole. There is currently underway a lot of revisiting some of those effects from a performance standpoint, as well as from like a visual soup standpoint with regards to these larger scale battles. And this hasn't been, you know, something obviously that we have traditionally focused on because, you know, we're still actively in the development process of these particular archetypes and all these abilities. But now that we have kind of those base kits ready to go for start of Alpha 2, we're going to be focusing in on refining them and making them more friendly both on the performance side as well as on the visual language side also, right, Keenan Trad?
Yeah, that's right. It's nice when those things go hand in hand. Like, you don't want to see too much, but what you do want to see, you want it to look good. So
Yeah.
Also, not just from a aesthetic standpoint, but reading the most important gameplay information is going to be key. Like, we have to identify, like, what are the most important telegraphs for someone to be able to identify an ability that they're expected to respond to, versus just the other kind of fluff and noise that it is more for the, you know, the visual fantasy of it. So we have to kind of consider gameplay information first.
Absolutely. Hey, if everybody wants to come over near the Miraleth side,
Wonder where the mount health
headquarters,
is too. I don't see that.
we're kind of gathering up here as we finish chatting about the showcase a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously, I think people will kind of see the progression that we are reaching now towards Alpha 2. There's a lot of kind of performance related tasks, polish and getting ready for, you know, external players to come in and participate. I will say one thing that has been very beneficial, and the studios is you know, very appreciative of
The movement on
our
the mount's really
interaction
cool
with
too.
the Phoenix
That
Initiative
raptor.
group, but they have been really successful in assisting us playtest, you know, this particular gameplay feature that is wars and the war events, but also, you know, they did so with the caravans and will continue to do so over the course of the next couple of months, and we will begin to at some point in the very near future extending that out as we draw closer to Alpha 2 to some Alpha 1 participants also. Hey, let's keep it friendly. Let's keep it friendly. Let's not attack
Here,
these poor people.
I can solve that, Steven.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's see. Oh,
Choose to the peacemaker.
we have done it. Well done.
While
Well
rubbing the
done.
score in our faces.
Yeah,
I know, really.
you gotta
Very nice.
let them know.
Now, mass combat is going to be something that is tested as part of obviously Alpha 2.
But that's interesting though, because the event was over, but the war is still going on between them, so they're still hostile. So I wonder if you're out in the world and you see them, Are you still killing them without penalty, or, how's that gonna go? That's interesting.
You guys are seeing here a brief taste of that as it relates to these node wars and these node war events. But there are going to be PvE contents, raids, world bosses that players are going to be expected to kind of interact with in a similar fashion of player density. So a lot of that performance work we were talking about obviously goes to make sure that those experiences are enjoyable, that they are running smoothly for the players. That's going to be our focus over these next few months here. Talk to me about war rewards. What are the types of war rewards that we are going to be starting Alpha 2 with, but also going to be implementing in the long run, Chris?
Sorry, multitasking again, Steven.
No
One more
worries.
time.
Yeah, just talking a little bit about kind of the war rewards that are going to be available obviously now, but also as we continue into Alpha 2. What are some of those rewards that we want to kind of get up and running?
Yeah, there's a large laundry list, but I can hit you with a couple few here. The big ones that we want to hit are, pulling up my list.
Nice.
So obviously, like, you're seeing the buffs with winning teams. I talked a little bit about like disabling services, siphoning gold from the enemy node. We want to do temporary mayorship control, where the winning mayor can kind of take over a limited control of the node that they defeat.
That could be bad.
Reducing taxes for the citizens within that winning node, obviously stealing their node XP, which is what we're doing here. And then we also want to do stuff where this enables new content that is exclusive for the winners, right?
Tax reduction would be cool.
Doing this means a raid boss spawns that, that the winners can participate in killing.
Awesome. Very cool. What are some other topics that I was definitely zoned in a little bit during the
raid boss would be another PvP PvE scenario.
The event. So, what are some of the topics that we kind of wanted to chat about as well? We can bring up now. I know that we had mentioned the mount abilities. We talked a little bit about the mounts, how that's going to work. There's also going to be mount abilities that are for basic land mounts as well. Those will be at entrance.
By the way, I'm really down with the cape being the guild identifier instead of like the like a tabard. I think that's way cooler. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I actually think that's a really cool idea.
For Alpha 2. So it's not that just obviously the mayors have access to these cool, dragon mounts, but players will obviously have access to mounts and some mount abilities also. That's work that you've been doing, right, Trad, with Red?
Exactly. Yeah. And those are already in progress as well. They won't be as spectacular, epic, and raid impacting as the mayoral ones, because we have to account for potentially 100 of them present instead of 2. But you'll still have stuff you can do to more at a personal level, like getting like a CC break or a sprint, that kind of stuff. So
cool, awesome. All right, well, guys, that was fun. I really enjoyed it, and played well, and obviously there's still a ways to go when it comes to continuing to develop this ahead of A2. But I think that what we're looking for from the community is to kind of talk to us about how you felt with regards to the event, the Node War system as a whole, the mass PvP. These are obviously things that we want to get feedback on. We've gotten, as I said, a tremendous amount of feedback when it comes to our PI testers. But now, as you guys are getting an opportunity to kind of see this for the first time, what it plays out as, and just to remind everyone, like, these events are not the Node War, and the Node War is not just these events. Outside of the prime-timed events, which is for a particular server location, may occur between 6 and 8 p.m. Local time for that server.
That's good.
Outside of that, there is still the war overall.
Around the most time, that's the time most people be home.
Being openly flagged for PvP with the citizens of the 2 nodes. give us your thoughts about that, about this system. It is a key component of the PVX aspect, and it does carry with it some significant.
Oh, and he just said openly flagged with the citizens of the other warring node. So I guess that is always going to be true. I like it.
Rewards.
I'm okay with
Obviously,
that.
keeping in mind that visual effects, performance, UI are still a work in progress. A lot of that is getting touched up over the next few months. But give us your thoughts about what you saw here today. With that being said, I must say to our Phoenix Initiative, job well done. Your assistance is always very much appreciated, as well as our glorious guests, our engineers, Kyle, Keenan, Zach, along with our designers, Trad and Chris, and of course, our lovely producer, Nathan. You guys have done a phenomenal job in standing up this particular feature for A2. I think I speak for the community when I say everyone is very excited to play this, to compete with one another, their friends, and to have some rivalry in jest, as it is meant to be. Obviously, that's what MMOs are all about. With that being said, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys out in the community enjoyed it, and we will see you back on stream very soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Cheers.
That was good.
GG.
Bye.
That was good. I think they can definitely implement. If they feel like the bandits and the crystal collecting isn't enough, I feel like they can do like battleground-esque games with it, and it would be more PvP focused. And then you could still have like that be the primary objective, and still like secondary objective being bandits or whatever. But it all seems good. It seems like a lot of fun. I think that the catch-up mechanic and like control on the artifact, whatever, they might have played it out to see like, oh, you have a chance. I don't know for sure, or if it's just like, nah, you're done. I mean, depending on how far behind you are, you're definitely done. But if you're not that far off, then I feel like the catch-up mechanic is good, and there's definitely a chance that if you're only 10 behind and you send like 3 people to kill the scholar, then I mean, that's easy enough. So, and now you're right back in the game, and now you're up 1 scholar. It's taking them longer to cast or channel, right? And yeah, they have their whole team there at the channel instead of scholars, and then they have to send some people out to get the scholars, and then your full team's there because you already got the scholars. So yeah, it's a cool system. It seems like. You never know until it's played out, though, until the players get their hands on it, and the big brains figure out the min-maxing, and then you really see if it's like fun or not. I really do think though that it is more PvE focused because it's killing bandits and stuff. But if you make certain areas more populated with more bandits or more crystals, then those areas will be fought over. You know, and then it's like, how worth it is that one area compared to the other areas around the node, where you just kind of distract maybe the team who's losing that war there, and you just send more of your forces to the outside or the other bandit camps. Yeah, but I think it would be fun. The 2 things that I'll say that would be a cool implementation is the different kinds of war, like having like a tournament style, right? Like a jousting, a 1v1 duel, like the Achilles versus the, David versus Goliath type thing. Like, you know what I mean? More the Achilles versus the other guy. I don't remember his name, or any of their names. It was always Achilles. Oh yeah, I beat them. The war's over. Those would be cool outlets, to do, so that it's like not always, the war with the node or whatever. It's like, okay, the jousting tournament, and then, there's a course, a flight course, and like it's a mayor versus mayor, right? So because they have the mount, so they have the fly mount, so it'd be mayor versus mayor. Maybe you could put a champion up to fly for you in your stead, Same with like a 1v1 duel, it would be like you can hire or place someone in your stead to, to participate in the duel for you. That'd be cool. there's a water mount, so you can have like a swim tournament, right? Like a, a water mount tournament. There would be other things in the game that I'm not aware of that you could make a tournament for, right? It could be like even who clears, a boss the fastest or a dungeon, right? You both go in, whoever clears it faster wins. Um, you know, it could be anything really. A lot of things like that would make it really cool and interesting and just different. Um, and especially for capturing the node, I think that a really good idea is the uh, different like battlegrounds in it, right? So like one time it'd be Warsong Gulch, it would be Basin, it would be like MOBA esque where it's like AV or Dota vibe, because then people won't stack certain comps because they don't know going in what it's gonna be for that war, right? So that'd be kind of cool. Uh, However, how it is now seems fun too. But adding more is always fun, and it could be something that would be implemented maybe even in the future, and not necessarily on launch. To spice up the war system, because eventually everyone gets bored of playing the same thing, and a little change can be good. So, yeah, not bad though. Excited to see the alpha be played. Definitely gonna be a lot of fun. Uh, yeah, real game. It's looking like a real game after all. That's a W. W for the MMO community. L for the doubters.